Hi guys, in this tutorial we're going to continue looking at string functions, and the one we are going to look at today is called replace. I told you that string functions are useful for data transformation. Okay, you have some data in the database, but you want to change it, you want to transform it for some reasons. It could be based on the requirement you are working on. It could be for any reason. Okay, so you can use string functions to do some data transformation. Like you want to change how your data appears or something like that. Okay, so I'll give you an example for replace. Let's do select star from employees. Select star from employees. So let's say, for instance, you have a requirement that says in the clothing department, we have different departments. We have sports, we have tools, we have clothing. So let's say you want to change this clothing. You want to call it another name. I'm going to select start from employees where department equals clothing. And I'm going to limit for so we can see all the data. You can do it across all the 1000 records. You can apply this function on all the 1000 records. I just want to limit this to 4 so that it can be bold enough for us to see on the screen. So I'm going to limit 4. So for a second, I'm going to remove this limit. So we want to select start from employees where department equals clothing. So meaning we want to see all those employees working in clothing departments. So we have 49 employees working in clothing departments. So um, let's select just the first name and department column so we can see everything. So I'm going to do select first name, department. Bring this down. Okay. So now I only want to see first name and department. I don't want to see every other columns. Okay. Now we have 49 employees. These are their names and they all work in clothing. If I scroll down, you see that they all work in clothing. But let's say in my report, I don't want this to be called clothing. I want to replace the name with something else. I don't want it to be called clothing in my report. I want it to be called um, maybe clothes, for instance. I don't want it to be clothing. I want it to be clothes, for instance. Whatever you want it to be. So what I'm going to do is to say select first name, select department, and here I can say replace so that we can see it side by side. Okay, so I can say replace. What column am I applying this replace function on? I'm applying it on department column. Replace department. Okay. So what are you replacing? Because we have so many data in department. We have clothing, we have sports. Okay, so I put a comma. Say I want to replace clothing. So what are you replacing clothing with? I want to replace clothing with maybe attires. Attires. Whatever name, whatever you put here is going to be displayed. So we want to see first name, we want to see department, and then another column, replace department, clothing with attires from employees. You see, we have it. So now I have attires. So you can use this replace. Another way you can use this is to say, I want to see first name. Let's say I don't want to see this department now. I want to see first name. Um, I want to see any other, maybe salary, and then replace department, clothing, replace it with attires. If I run this, you see it's replaced with attires. So you can replace, maybe you are not just comfortable with what is there, or your requirement demands that you change it, call it another name or something like that. So this function comes handy for you to use. So to make it simple, let's look at this all over again. So I can say something like select, replace. At least I want to select department, right? So select department from employees. So we have all these departments. I don't want to scroll down, so I'm going to limit this to maybe just 4 records. Right now we have all the 1000. If I scroll down, you see we have all the department, music, phones and tablets. Okay. And before I do that, let me remove these limits to show you. So select department from employees, and we have this data. But I want to replace clothing. Anywhere there is clothing, I want to replace it with attires. So I'll say select department. Now to use the replace function, I come here and say select replace department. And whenever you use your string function, you open parentheses and put the column you want to apply the string function on inside parentheses. So we are applying this replace function on this column department. Okay, fine. So what in this column are you replacing? We want to replace clothing. It could be anything. It could be tools. It could be sports. Okay, so maybe this sports, let's replace sports. Okay, so I want to replace sports. What are you replacing sports with? You put a comma, and then I want to replace this with maybe um, whatever we call it. It could be maybe soccer. So select replace departments, sports. That is this data. I want to change it to soccer from employees. Let's see what we have. And I'm going to remove this replace. So, okay, so let's see what we have. You see, that's changed to soccer. I can change tools as well. And if I scroll down, anywhere you see sports, you're going to see soccer. There's no more, it's not going to show you sports anymore. It's replaced with, for you to see, I'm going to say where department equals sports, so that you can see. You see, everything is now soccer. Everything has changed to soccer. Anywhere we have sports, that's changed it to soccer. Because now I only want to retrieve those employees working in sports. I can still put my first name. I can still put any other column I want. This is just a column, so I can still add first name. I can add whatever I want to this. So I want to see first name, and let me remove this where clause. So now I want to see first name, and then in the departments, I want to see department column, but any appearance of sport, I want to change it to soccer. So if I run this, so we have our first name, we have our departments. I can alias this because it's showing replace. That's not the column name I want. So I can alias this as department. So now you see Barry works in sports, but I've changed the name of that department to soccer. If we keep going down, you see, works in sports, but I've changed the name to soccer. We can change it for any department. If I remove this and change this to clothing, maybe I want to change clothing to attires. Okay, so and I run. Just watch, you see that all the occurrence of clothing will change to what we have here. You see, Sydney works in clothing. We've changed the name. You can even put your name, it's going to display it. So that's what replace is used for. Note that I'm going to say this again. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again that when you use these string functions, they don't change the actual data in your table. Okay, clothing is still in the table. They only change what is retrieved for you. The changes are made on the fly because if I do select star, you see that I have everything in the table without any changes. Select star from employees. I want to run just the select star. When we go to the department, we still have sports, we still have clothing. So when you are using all these functions, they don't change what is in your table. They only change what is displayed to you. And then you can export this to maybe Excel, or maybe you can connect this to Tableau, or wherever you want to do your visualization. Maybe you want to go and pivot this in Excel, but the actual table in the table remains. It has not changed. But your query only returns what you want on the fly. It changes it on the fly. That's what is displaying to you. It has not affected what is in the table. Now I want to run select first name, replace departments, clothing inside this department column, replace it with attires. And then I'm aliasing this column as department from employees. Now it has changed my clothing to attires. If I change tools, it's going to change as well. You can use it on any column. You can use it to change your first name. You can use it to change all of that. But using string replace does not change the actual data. It's only changing what is being displayed to you for reporting purposes. The actual data is still there. And this is not just applicable to replace, is applicable to all the functions that we've been looking at so far. The concatenation, all of them, substring, all those functions. They don't change the actual data. Okay. So if this is a bit confusing, you can try this on your own. Use this function on the first name column, on any string column, first name, last name, email, you can replace anything. Okay. So if this is confusing, that's understandable. Just watch it over and over again, and it will make sense to you. In the next tutorial, we're going to look at one more. I think we have one more string function to look at before we move on to um, another concept entirely. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.